Sweet talking men always seem to know how to get women. I think about in high school when you'd see that guy that all the girls would swoon over, like, oh my gosh, he says all the right things. And you know what his motives were. And after he took advantage of her, then he'd move on and her heart would be broken. And I was thinking, while that is not ethical at all, that is something that husbands can learn if they want to please their wives. I've done videos before about men are visually aroused, and I've had people argue with me, well, so are women. No, it's not the same. Men visually, their vision is attached to the sexual part of their brain, and a beautiful woman will sexually arouse men, and she won't have to say anything. The average female does not look at a man's body and all of a sudden become sexually aroused. For a woman, when a man says words that appeal to her heart and her mind, she gets aroused. Now, there's a difference between the guy I was talking about at the beginning, the high school guy that's just trying to get into the young girl, get her into bed. There's a difference between that and a husband who truly wants to please his wife. Think of those men. If your wife is able to melt when you just say the right things, then how much effort are you giving to what you say? Whether you're a woman who's gotten married and taken your marriage for granted and I had kids, it's hard to keep weight off, but sometimes we let our bodies go. Or if you're the man who's like, well, I've already married her, I no longer need to care. I want you to check yourself. And while I'm not talking about the females right now, I am talking about the men, because it is so much harder for men to understand that a woman does want to hear sweet truths, not sweet BS, not sweet talking that is meaningless. Oh, your hair looks great today. Something that really speaks to her heart. And if you can say the right words, your wife can melt into your arms. Now you may be thinking, I try, I have no idea. So the first thing is, do you try? So there's two different people here. Do you try? Do you even care? Because when you are married, you are to selflessly try to please your spouse. And again, I'll do another video about men or women pleasing men. But this one is about men pleasing women, pleasing your wife. Marriage is going to be work until the day you die, because we are selfish creatures. So we must always seek to be selfless and not fall into complacency. And so when is the last time that you just looked at your wife and perhaps you know she loves to dance? Do you ever just grab her and say, can we just slow dance? You ever just turn on the music right there in your house and slow dance? I'm not looking for a Hallmark movie. I'm looking for you to look at your wife in a way that says, what would make her happy? And yeah, I have to stop doing what I'm doing, watching my video, working in the garage, working in the yard, golfing, whatever it is that you do for you. On occasion, more occasions than not, do you look at your wife and say, what can I do to please her? Again, there's some of you men that are saying, I can't do anything to please my wife. Well, then call me and I'll work with you on that. But I was thinking so much about these sweet talking men. Why do so many women, young girls specifically, fall for it? Because it means something. We love to hear what you think about us. We love to hear that you do think about us. We love when you randomly come up to us and say, you're very special to me, and I'm glad I married you. And it doesn't have to be all fake and romantic, just perhaps walking up to her or touching her hand and saying, I may not tell you this enough, but even though we've had fights, if I ever had to do it again, I'd marry you again. Or even though we're not perfect, you're a good woman. Ask your wife. Ask your wife what makes her happy. And then shut up. Too many of us, women and men, get defensive. And And you may be married to a negative wife who might say something negative. Just zip your lips, call me. But seriously consider the words that you say. Because don't forget, I've said this in other videos, the male's emotion center in his brain is connected to his spinal cord. So when he feels a feeling, whether it's a good feeling or a bad feeling, he just needs to move and act on it. That's why more men punch walls than women. The woman's verbal center, her emotion center, is wrapped around her verbal center. When she feels something, she speaks it, expresses it, which is why women can come up with words much more easily than men can. But you're still not stupid. You can still say, even if you have to practice it in advance, some good, kind words, sweet words of love. What she means to you, what you're grateful for. Is she beautiful? And not just the things you've said every day, because we do take those for granted. You take them for granted, and we take them for granted. So what can you say to show your wife that you actually are going above and beyond and saying, I want to please you? I'm trying to say something I don't always say because I want our marriage to get better every day. So if I haven't said it before, I need you to know this. Try it. Figure out some I'm proud of yous, some I love yous. For some of you men that find it hard to say that. And no, she shouldn't just know you love her because you told her once. You need to tell her again and again. Reinforce it, because sometimes your actions make her think you stop loving her. Proud of things she does, impressed by things she says, watched how she interacts with others, what she does for you, for your kids, just how beautiful she is inside and out, the way she draws people to God. And if you are having hard feelings about your spouse and you don't think of much, then you do need help, because there's something beautiful in her and you're not seeing it, or your heart is too hard. And that's not how God intended marriage. What are your thoughts? I'm curious to hear what you have to say. I'm Dr. Christine Bacon. Thanks for watching this informational Bacon Bit. And as always, remember to live your life sunny side up.